After work started on Long Island and her British sister, 4 more, this time incomplete, C-3 merchants were converted. All were originally slated for transfer to the British, but one was immediately transferred back to the U.S. upon completion, mostly for pilot training purposes. This was the single ship of the 8,200-ton Charger class. The conversion was more complex than Long Island, but still pretty minimal to speed completion. The hangar, again topped off by the flight deck, was built above the original main deck, which became the hangar deck floor. She did, however, have an island, setting the pattern for future escort and light carriers. It was a small one, just barely large enough for navigation and flight control, essentially attached to the side rather than sitting on the flight deck as in large carriers to maximize the limited flight deck and hangar space. Charger was completed and simultaneously transferred to the Royal Navy November 2, 1941. 2 days later, she was transferred back to the U.S. and work started to Americanize her. She was finally commissioned March 3, 1942. Main armament was one 5-inch 51 caliber dual-purpose gun in a single open mount at the stern and two 3-inch 50 caliber anti-aircraft guns in single open mounts side by side at the bow. Propulsion was provided by 2 diesel engines, each venting to a small midship funnel, one on each side, that provided 8,500 horsepower to one shaft for a top speed of 16.5 knots. There was one rudder. The flight deck was 410 feet by 69 feet and had one port-side catapult. The single elevator was 42 feet by 34 feet and was located near the rear of the flight deck. The hangar was 190 feet by 47 feet by 17 1/3 feet. Aircraft complement was operationally about 15 aircraft. Modifications were very few given her limited role. Radar was added and her 5-inch 51 caliber was traded for a 5-inch 38 caliber dual-purpose gun, still in a single open mount. Charger spent virtually the entire war operating out of Chesapeake Bay as a training carrier. After the war, in mid-March 1946, she was sold off to merchant service.